Yes, welcome to CWM on April 3rd, 2019. Let's take a look at 30-year rate. Right now it's 4%, and 15% is 3.625%. We're going to talk about the interest rate a little bit later at the news brief. 10-year Treasury yield is 2.472%, and prime rate, as we said, 5.5%. Okay, first news. Let's take a look at the map. Have you heard of Quanta Superfund site? There's a city place right here, right? Promenade here. And this used to be theater. Now they're going to do condo development. Okay.
Remove theater?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now this is a city place. Right next to city place, this area is a contaminated area, and we call Quanta Superfund site. Now you remember some few months ago, Edgewater resident, they complained about smell, bad odor. And it was kind of back and forth between resident and the town. But when Edgewater residents complained last year about noxious fumes coming from cleanup work at the Quanta Superfund site, EPA said there's no problem. Okay, there's no health risk to the public. EPA said. Who's EPA? Environmental Protection Agency is a federal agency. But recently, state report says otherwise. They said differently. The level of naphthalene, you remember naphthalene has bad odor, smell. The level of naphthalene were high enough to potentially cause harmful short-term health effects if they were exposed for more than 9 months, mentioned the report. So it's a little bit different. The EPA's report and announcement to the public, and the state recent report says differently. The report says also the naphthalene levels were as high as 1,000 micrograms. If EPA continues to make sure that better work practice continues at the site, short-term health effects associated with the naphthalene are not expected. Well, it's a little bit of a positive news, but there will be meeting at the Edgewater Community Center, 1167 River Road, on April 9th. So if you are interested in to hear this kind of meeting, you can go and check. There will be 2 sessions, 2 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 9 p.m. And also, you can call if you have a concern, your client or yourself. If you have concern, you can call the EPA hotline. So what's practically we have to do? When your client want to buy Edgewater condo unit, do you have to disclose this?
I did.
You did?
I have a potential seller. He has 2 units, and then that I had a CMA that was not expected by the seller's thinking. So low price than seller thinking. That's why I explained to him why. Then he understood, and he didn't
Care about.
He didn't decided to sell it at this moment. So he's going to be later on, a few years later.
Paul is condo, and there is the newer condominium glass tower. This is a rather smaller project. That's somewhere around this. I think this is glass tower. It's developer is a Chinese. So this area, many condominiums around. Of course, City Place is here. So this in the middle of all this condo complex right now is a Superfund site. What's a Superfund?
Contaminated area.
Okay, if it's a small contaminated area, town will take care of it. But if town cannot handle, then federal Superfund will be kicked in. It's a lot of money. Right now, it's Honeywell is cleaning up. But what they do is that they're not taking all this earth and remove from this site. How they can do that? Because this is a big area. Basically, it's they use some kind of a chemical and drill down and then put the chemical. So chemical and the earth kind of got stuck together and not become active. Okay. So that's how they do. So especially if you have a buyer around this, you better disclose. In fact,
already buyers knows about that.
already someone purchased.
What I realized that things in a city hall, there's lots of kind of on the market the property for the selling, even though they didn't have any transaction at all. Last year, I'm talking about it. There was more than 20 units was on the market. Then,
In the City Place, you mean?
yeah, City Place. So the seller asked me what's going on. Then I told him.
Oh,
blah,
so
blah, blah.
seller thinks that. I mean, we informed that maybe possibly because of this, buyer not
Doesn't interest
buy.
you to buy that anymore. That's why seller kind of feeling it's not great time to sell it. That's why.
Okay, honestly, I don't know that much impact right now, but this is known fact, so you have to let your buyer client know. Okay, at least there is some complaint about the bad smell, the bad odor. It smells like naphthalene. 한국말로 좀약, right? 클라짓에 넣는 좀약. Okay.
And also the seller knew already the kind of between that promenade and City Place on the bottom of that kind of sucking smell.
Smells bad again.
So bad.
All right.
That's why.
When they developed the City Place, okay, originally there is another condo actually on this site. But because of this contamination, they could not build the next phase. Okay. So let's move on. In Palisades Park, New Jersey, a parking ticket issuing is dropped sharply. Is it good news or bad news?
Good news.
Is it good news? Maybe not. Let's look at it. Tickets issued between July through December 2018 were 8,644. That was dropped by 33% from the same period of last year. So people think that why? What's the reason? And some worry that it means less visitors in town. So that means it's not so good news in that sense. But Mayor Chung said maybe not the case. There was some confusion about issuing tickets. Okay, around this area, tickets in fortlee, the parking ticket we're talking about, increased by 1%, not too bad, to 17,214. And Leonia, it was decreased by 26%, 796 tickets. But sharply increased by 97% in Ridgefield. Total ticket was 3,477. Hopefully, the parking ticket dropped. The reason of this drop is just confusion about the ticketing itself, so that it won't affect the business. in Palisades Park. The next one is one piece of market price news. Apartment location is at 910, 918, and 928 Gerard Avenue, Bronx. This area. Well, Bronx is kind of a last frontier because Brooklyn, the price went up too much, and Manhattan, you know, Queens, you know, but Bronx yet the price is still low. So let's look at the price actually. It was 3 buildings, 1, 2, 3, 3 buildings complex, and apartment is total 24 units, and total square footage is 28,260 feet. So you can calculate how much per square feet? $148 right here. So still Bronx you can buy at $148 per square feet, residential complex. And also it means $175,000 per unit average. So you can imagine. And this is a 3-floor walk-up building, no elevator. And as we said, the complex is 1 block away from the Yankee Stadium. And interesting number is potentially 71,000 buildable square feet overall. What does it mean? So right now is the 3rd floor. So maybe up to 6th floor, maybe around. So 71,000 buildable square feet. Any investor will be looking for this buildable square feet. Remember, right? In Bronx, the apartment complex, which is very hot area, really hot area for the investment purpose. Those who has some funds right now, the multifamily complex is hottest item. Okay, the next one, New York State requires to use smoke alarm detector with 10-year lifespan from April 1st. This is interesting. Often when we apply CO, sometimes we have to change the smoke alarm detector. Especially we have to change batteries. Now New Jersey, there is a AC connected smoke alarm detector with also battery. It's kind of different. But New York now requires to use 10-year lifespan smoke detector. Personally, I haven't seen it yet, so I want to see it. Or they have to use AC outlet, connected to AC outlet, plugged in. So they have to use 2 different types. This is good for agent. Well, New York, they don't have much tougher regulation for CO. New Jersey is tougher. But still, if we can use this in New Jersey, I think it's good. 10 years you don't have to worry about. So I haven't seen it, and I want to order it, and I want to see it. But existing detector installed before April 1st would be okay till either tenant move out or either they sell the unit.
I think the 10 years lifespan, you cannot change the battery.
I don't think there's a battery involved.
You cannot. It's that's very thin.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it.
The new one.
New one.
New
Okay.
smoke alarm is
I assume that there is no battery involved. Any battery involved cannot go 10 years. So it's a good thing. I don't know how much, and I don't know about the information. But if you know and if you have one, then you can bring it to the next meeting. And also New York now starts internet sales tax according to the budget approved for 2020 fiscal year. For last 26 years, if you order through internet, they didn't pay sales tax. We knew that. But now they have to pay tax called also market price provider tax. Same thing. So residents should pay tax when they order the merchandise through online. The exact tax amount was not announced, and it will be depending on the different area, just like a regular offline taxes. Currently, right now, New York residents are paying total sales tax of 8.875%. And with this total tax, New York City sales tax is 4.5%, and New York State tax is 4%, and 0.375% Metropolitan Travel VAT, value added tax. So total 8.875% sales tax. Now online orders, now residents have to pay this much tax. Again, as I said, New York residents have not paid internet sales tax for last 26 years. However, Federal Supreme Court decided that state can impose online buyers. Decision made on June 2018. So according to this rule, decision, now New York State can impose sales tax for online orders as well. New Jersey, I don't think yet. I didn't hear. But I think New Jersey will do same thing pretty soon, because we hear a lot of news saying New Jersey, we need money. So they're going to raise a lot of different taxes here and there. We'll cover that news later, sometime next week. Okay, now this is very important news to you. Right now, interest rate going down. This is good news for our buyer clients. So mortgage program with a less than 4% emerged in the market. Freddie Mac announced 30-year average rate is 4.06% this week, while it was 4.28% last week. So it's dropped by 0.22%. This drop is actually a record in 10 years. In other words, 1 week, okay, 0.22% drop is biggest drop in 10 years. And also right now, the interest level is record lowest point since January 2018. Okay, so Freddie Mac's chief economist Sam Carter mentioned it is good news for real estate market, while the economy forecast was not that bright. And because of this interest rate, it will show more buyers' demand. And some professionals saying market is affected by too high price and low inventory. Market was affected, but with this news, it will be better. And therefore, last week, mortgage applications increased by 8.9% from the previous week. But we have some situation here. More worries on the downward economy move funds to U.S. 10-year Treasury bonds. You remember 10-year Treasury yield going down. Now, more funds move to Treasury funds, Treasury bonds, that means, good morning, that means yield becomes lower. And this trend, well, actually, yeah, lowering the 10-year Treasury yield, which is right now 2.472%, it means it makes mortgage rate lower. That much we know. So this trend of lower mortgage rate might be continued for a while, unless worries for downward economy removed. Now, another phenomenon is lowering mortgage rate triggers more refinancing market. So if you have existing clients, they purchased like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, then they might be good candidate for refinancing. And more homeowners applied for refinancing, especially homeowners with the variable rate mortgage program, move quickly. Especially not the fixed rate, but especially with the variable mortgage in Korean, right? The 변동이자율. They move quickly to apply refinance. And mortgage industry informed, in general, it is worthwhile if you can lower 0.5% to 0.75% through refi. And also is very beneficial to combine first mortgage and second mortgage. In this case, second mortgage is typically credit line, home equity line or loan. So you can combine, and it can be very good tactic if your client has this first and second mortgage. For example, let's say loan amount is $300,000 with a 30-year. Let's say they paid $1,599.48 per month. But if you do refi at 3.99%, 30 years, it becomes $1,450.51. Means you can save, your client can save $168 per month. Is it good? Yeah, if you calculate yearly, that's a good amount of savings. So you can imagine, right? Typically, let's say from 4.94% to 3.99% refinancing, you can save about $170 per month. That's a good saving, without paying point and closing cost. Okay, about the recession. Some people are saying, oh, recession is coming or not, but Warren Buffett, CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Often you see this Berkshire Hathaway, they have a real estate brokerage company as well. Okay, so Warren Buffett is saying there will be no recession in US. So Buffett mentioned a relatively positive diagnosis for US economy on February. That growth rate is slowing down, but we are not going to reach to recession. He mentioned during the CNBC interview. He also said growth rate is slowing down does not mean we will go to different direction. And the general economy is growing with a slow, steady pace. This is good information for you because we're driving all the time. April is a National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, including New York and New Jersey. You remember I sent out Katok message, both the palpk office for in Korean as well. I kind of had a doubt a little bit because that announcement made on April 1st. April Fool Day. So I was kind of, this is real or not? But it is real. The newspaper says April is a National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Okay, so it's real. So be careful, right? Now, ticket will be issued for careless driving. This is ridiculous, but it's a reality. Texting, of course. Now, eating. Also, the police can give you the ticket.
No drinking.
No drinking. Okay, Sonny, no drinking.
No drinking.
In the car while you're driving. Touching handphone. Even putting your phone on the lap. That itself, you can get the ticket. It's a real story. The person who got the ticket actually reported. And operating navigation and the radio operation. Even the ladies, like makeup, also you can get ticket. This sounds ridiculous, okay? Especially during April 1st through April 21st, 3 weeks. Be careful, and this is really important thing that we have to keep, because all the time we're driving. But look at the statistics. 9 people die every day due to careless driving. In other words, you do something else, so that's why distracted driving awareness. You do something else, not concentrating on the driving, then you hit someone and they die. 9 people die every day in US. One tech or other news, like Uber, there's another company, Lyft. They go to IPO successfully. You know IPO, right? Initial public offering on March 29, 2019. And stock was traded higher than initial offer price, which is offer price was $72 per stock, but actually it traded higher at $87.24, which means it's good news. So with IPO, Lyft achieved the investment fund of $2.3 billion from initial stock sales. Like right now, I believe in terms of market share, they are the second. The first would be Uber. Okay, that's it for today, news brief.